Thank you for Patreon now for donating to the Patreon.
Hey guys, it's Vanity. So I'm your Card Fight Vanguard, Ezel and Vanity weekly video. So who cares? Like, comment, subscribe, and let's go and start, shall we? This time we have a few more views from Dragon Masquerade. You know, we finally have the new Varina, which I can finally yell a very specific statement at, thankfully. And not to mention the fact we have a lot more reveals of just in general for Masquerade support and few speculations that are now occurring. So let's go ahead and get this started, shall we, and see what we got. First up today, we have Steam Hunter's Capip, or as I like to call it, Steam Hunter Mudkip, because I don't know why looking at that name reminds me of Mudkip from Pokemon. Grade 2 NSF 5k shield, 10k base, continues rear guard to guard circle. If your Vanguard is a Xeno, Almagestar, Estrella equals Baiko Masquez, this unit gets plus 5k power and 5k shield. Okay, so 10k interceptor and 15k power. Isn't this just Kit's Peak but worse? Because doesn't Kit's Peak do the exact same thing, but it only requires critical triggers, or does it get 2k but it gets the 5k shield? I'm pretty sure it gets 5k power and shield, which makes it better with how the deck performs, but I guess Zuka Kip is there to be budget Kit's Peak. I don't know. This argument feels worse, especially because I've been seeing people run around and say, yeah, Baiko is the best as a finisher, and I agree with you. Baiko straight up sucks as a, trying to sit on for the entirety of the game. Trust me, I know, my Baiko deck is worse than my normal Unica deck, and that is surprising considering my Baiko deck can actually fucking search the deck. So, Zukip is, not bad, but at the same time, it's I'm pretty sure Kit's Peak does its job better. Then we have Roaring Fist Dragon, Gyroom Dragon, or what I first saw it as. Oh my god, they put fucking Ethics Buster in D, I can't believe it. But nope, Gyroom Dragon. Grade 2 NSF 5k shield, 10k base. All is placed on rear guard if you have 3 more Dragon Tree markers on your rear guard, circle counter boss 1, soul boss 1, draw a card. I love how as I sent this to Discord, I said in the Discord that I guess every nation is getting one of these now, and the next card we got that was ability had the exact same skill. Either way, it's not horrible, but just having to pay that cost to get a draw 1 when you're on a Draco Tree marker is kind of 50-50, especially because those decks are already a little bit CB heavy depending on which one you're playing. So I don't know, it's not a bad grade 2. In terms of art, I love it. I think it looks like kind of either an Ethics Buster or kind of like a white armored version of God Hand, because that's what I see in this, but it just feels like it could have been, something better. Either way, it's an okayish card. 2 of if you choose to run it. You know what this could have been if this wasn't fucking D? This would have been a new God Hand. You want to know how I know? Because that's how Bushy would have made this. But no, that's not the case here. 2 of. Then we have Flying Robo Aerial Hail, grade 2 NSF 5k shield, 10k base. Auto when your opponent's rear guard is placed by your prison's ability, you may bounce the card to hand. Okay, if this was one of the G Sentinels where it had to pay a cost, and at the end of a certain thing you can bounce it back to hand to recycle PGs, that'd be great. I think that would be amazing, and I miss those PGs so much. Bushy bring those back, but sadly that's not the case, and it's not a PG, and instead I feel like this is just the most useless sense of a 5k I've ever seen, unless your opponent's playing a nuke deck, and even then I don't think running this as a 1-of tech would be a warrant for that. So take that as you will, run it if you want to. I'm not going to run this though. Then we have more print support in the form of 2 new Aurora Battle Princesses used by Tomari. I was about to say Megumi, but I know Megumi uses Magnolia, which we'll get onto later. Aurora Battle Princess Grenade Marita, grade 1 boost, 5k shield, 8k base. Auto, when she's placed on rear guard, you may choose 1 card from your prison, and if you did, your opponent puts it on the bottom of their deck, and then you choose a grade 0 from their drop zone, and then they imprison in your prison, and then this unit gets plus 5k for the turn. Okay. Cool. It prevents your opponent from... First up, you don't have to use a skill because it's a make clause. Second up, if you have something in your prison that you know your opponent wants, say for example a Trick Star because you imprisoned a Varina, you can just bot deck the Trick Star, and then you can just take a trigger from their drop zone, and then it's a free B5. It's not a bad skill. It genuinely is great. Here's my issue. I run this at a 4-of in my Seraph deck. And every single time it ends up in hand, I have to drop it on guard power because I'm going to die the next turn if I don't. Or there's something more important in my hand because it imprisons stuff on board instead of stuff in drop, and it imprisons more than just this one does. So I love Grey Merida. I think her skill is great. I'm never going to be able to fucking use it because every time I try to, I have to discard her almost immediately. 4-of, one day I'll use your skill. When, I don't know. Maybe in the next millennia, hopefully. Then we have Aurora Battle Princess Penetrate Aqua, for once a grade 3 support card for Seraph Snow that I'm actually running in my deck. Grade 3 General Persona, 13k base. Also based on rear guard, your opponent chooses 1 card from the drops in your prison. Also pretty good. The only thing I could have thought this was better is because its other skill also shares a guard circle skill, is I wish it also had an on-place guard circle put an opponent's card from drops in a prison, because I don't think that would be too bad, but maybe that was called too much brokenness. So either way, it's a fine card for that, but then continues rear guard or guard circle. If there are 2 or more cards in your prison, this you get plus 5k power and 10k shield, and then during a battle in which she attacks, when your opponent will call cards from hand guard, so let discard 2 or more at the same time, after during both players' turns. So if your opponent for some reason let you keep 2 cards in prison, it's an 18k base. All around pretty solid, and not to mention it has 10k shield. My only issue is she doesn't have intercept, so if you call her down to maximize the imprisoning, you are losing the intercept. I really do wish she had the ability to count as an intercept. If they had to drop 5k shield for it, I think that would have been fine, but I don't know. I just feel like having to commit the 10k is kind of not worth it. But at the same time, no one, unless if they can pay the cost, no one in their right mind is going to let you keep enough to where this would actually be beneficial. So I don't know, especially if they see you run it. So I don't know. I run it as a 4 just because it's nice having it. I think it's cool, even though she hates me, and all 4 ended up in my damage check in my first game I played with this deck. That game is on channel, by the way. But it is what it is. 4 of this. Then we have Magnificent Flaming Axe Calgrafan. Great chance to 5k shield, 10k base. All knows discard from your hand during your ride phase. Soul boss 1, put the bottom, draw a card. Standard ride deck discard thing at this point. And then auto when it's placed on rear guard. If you press on this turn by CB1, I'll retire all your opponent's rear guards and same combat as this unit. I heard a lot of people are disappointed about this, and my question is, did you guys think it was going to do something different? Like, what do you think it was going to do? Like, do the Gridor thing where it not only nukes the column, or in Gridor's case, it was paralyze the column, I think, but in this one's case, it would be nuke the column, and then your opponent can't call to that, because in my mind, that'd be way too good. At least it's still okay. Well, yeah, it doesn't let shit stand. It, you know, at least allows them to call things. So, I don't know. I feel like people are more disappointed in this than they could be. I've been disappointed in all of them. I have had, like, no conscious reason to want to run any of these outside of the Stoichea one, because it's the most reminiscent of Mega Colony, and I'm waiting for a Mega Colony line, which I don't know why I hate Mega Colony, but I just wanted to see a line for it now. But it's a fine grade 2 in my opinion. It's a column nuke if you want to use it. 2 of 3 of, I guess. I don't know. And then we have Sylvan Horned Beast Rampart. Yeah, I remember earlier when I said we're going to talk about that with this. Yep. So first up, it's skill. Great chance to 5k shield, 10k base. Auto plus on rear guard. If you have 3 more Trick Tree markers, counter boss 1, soul boss 1, draw a card. Okay, fair. One, I gotta say this. I love this art. It looks cool. I love the fact this is like a corrupted looking lion. Speaking of which, and I normally don't cover this because I don't really care, but this time I kind of do, and that is people are thinking we're going to get Mag reverse. We already know we're going to get Drow Jeweled reverse, or not reverse, but Masquez, and I have talked about it in a video. I don't know if it's gone up yet. I know it's a Deer Days video. I talked about it in. I don't know which video it was. I know it's one of the ones going up this week, but yeah, so it's, people are thinking we're going to get a Mag Masquez now because of this, which is fair. That is definitely a way to think about that. Do I think we're gonna get like Magnolia Masquez? Anime-wise, I'm kind of against it, considering very specific things, but at the same time, I'm like, in my opinion, personally, it feels like Megumi's story needs to climax somewhere, and I feel like this is the closest we're going to get to that. So I will willingly take the Masquez, even though I don't want Mag getting one, just to see that story climax, even if I hate it because it's Megumi and I hate Megumi. But hopefully that makes me like her, and Rampart is hopefully a sign of that. I don't know. Like I said, I don't care for the Masquez of Magnolia, but yeah, I'll take it if it involves Megumi's story. Then we'll go on to Astralin Dragon, grade 3 jump persona, 13k base. Change rear guard during your turn. If it's on rear guard Dragon Tree marker, it gets boosted 5k power. So this thing's an 18k beat stick. Great. Pretty solid. It just does it for free. It's not an amazing card, but it's kind of like those grade 1s that like discard 1, get the benefit, but instead of having to discard 1, it's just a constant booster in 18k. Not bad. It's kind of generically splashable with anything that has Dragon Tree markers in it. Solid card, and I'm actually now realizing I can use this in Leonore if I wanted to. I'm not going to, I'm just saying it's an option. 3 of, I guess. Then we have the new Varina, which I will finally be able to say this. Give me a second. Thank God, we finally got a goddamn countercharger. Can you people shut the fuck up now? Jesus Christ, are you satisfied? We got a countercharger. I literally love how I only watched that episode, well, I was going to watch the episode anyways, even though I don't really care for the anime, just because I wanted to see mirrors in action, because I was immediately going to record after it. But after seeing the subtitles run in English when I was trying to watch it for the first time, because, you know, that was the one time I wasn't in school, but then also because I had saw the reveal in Discord before the episode even aired, I was like, yeah, you know what, fuck watching this. I'm going to go do the video that I planned on doing, and then just come back to it later when the English subs are back on. And thankfully, when I was finished recording, the subs came back on, but thank God. I am so glad we finally got this so I can tell people shut the fuck up, because you have no idea how annoying it is listening to people say, especially as a Nirvana main. I main every deck, but Nirvana being my favorite one, I hate people saying you need a counter charger. You do not need a fucking counter charger for Nirvana. Maybe in competitive, but at least not in casual. You don't need it. And it's so annoying hearing like everyone go rant. You need a counter charger. Shut up. Anyways, grade 2 intercept 5k shield 10k base mirror reflection equipped Miraz Varina. Sadly, not Miraz Varina. That would have been cooler, but whatever. Crossover dress, 1 Trickstar and 1 Prayer Dragon, place it on top by stacking it on both units. And then auto, when it's placed on rear guard by crossover dress, you can choose up to 2 cards with Varina and their card names from your drop zone, put them as original dress for this unit. So they can be same name as this unit, because it'll be 2 more mirrors, or it can be different named ones like Garo and Arcs. It can really be any Varinas as long as they are Varinas. Doesn't matter if they're crossover dress or overdress, it doesn't matter. And then auto rear guard, when this unit attacks, if it is in the crossover dress state, it gets plus 10k power to battle. And then by putting one of your original dresses with Varina and its card name into your drop zone, draw a card and countercharge 1. So for the record, it has to be, or countercharge 1, not and countercharge 1. It has to be one of its original dresses, not another like Miraz you have on your board for whatever reason, or another card that has a Varina in the original dress, like such as Esparidia or Expecta, which all around is pretty solid. Like, it's a free 20k swing, which is great. I wish it wasn't on the battle, but fair enough. And not to mention the fact it can get a counter charge, which a lot of people have been complaining about, obviously, or it can get a draw. You want to know what's funny, people that complain about Nirvana needing counter charger? Since this has come out, and in every game I played it with, I have never once used the ability to counter. I like how my voice cracked during that. I have never once used the ability to counter charge. I have only ever needed to use it to draw. I'm saying this now to prove my point that Nirvana did not need a counter charger. It was just the way people were playing it. And I am so fucking happy that I can finally go yell at people to shut the hell up about this. Thank you, Mirrors, for being a counter charger. Not because I needed it, but because I wanted to scream at people and you gave me that ability to. 3 of. Then we have Wilderness Dragon, grade 2 intercept, 5k shield, 10k base. This one's actually unique in the sense of the Dragon Tree Marker one. So, auto one's placed on rear guard. If you have 3 more Dragon Tree Markers, Soul Blast one, choose an opponent's rear guard in the same combat unit and kill it. All around, pretty solid. Doesn't have to be in front row, doesn't have to be in back row, it can be in either as long as it's in combat it. And I really wish they kind of kept this theme with all of them where they made us go unique to their nation. I mean, I can get why they didn't do it for Brancate, because pretty much every card that's generic in Brancate has something to do with set orders. So it is pretty, even the Draco Tree one has something to do with set orders. So it's pretty nice to see this one not require set orders, even though its skill is kind of meh. But like, they could have done something here where it revolved around orders or something like that, and then, you know, this one's actually good because it has a unique effect. Either way, solid card, not amazing but not bad, and I'm willing to run into 2 of in my Dragon Tree deck for Dragon Parkers, why not?
Now let's go over our final reveals for the day. First up, we have Illuminate Equipped Dragon Garo Little Mirror, grade 1 boost, 5k shield, 8k base. Auto when it becomes an original dress. By Soul Blasting 1, you look at top 7, you can choose up to 2 Varinas from among them, reveal them, add 1 to your hand, and then put the other to the drop zone. Or put both to the drop zone, because it's up to 1 can be added to hand, and then shuffle the rest of the deck. Okay, first up, when I first read this, I read this as mill the top 7 and pick 2 Varinas from among them, but this is even better, because it's not required you add something, but if you want to add something great so you can deck them for 2 cards, you can get a Varina to hand and send the rest to the drop zone to set up 4 mirrors over here. All around, this thing is perfect, and it Soul Blasts out a Trickstar, which is something I constantly have trouble with, because I normally don't want to go into bar, and Braum has to hit for its ability to go off. All around, Grawl is pretty much what I was looking for personally in Varina, and sadly I must say goodbye to one of my favorite prayer dragons to make room for him, but it was a well-deserved wait. 3 of you for the simple reason because I don't want to tech Brahmada down by 1, but Grawl is great and I love this thing and it looks beautiful. And then we have our new Willista cards. First we have our, Willista. First we have Full Marks of Exaggerating Energy, Trixie, Great 2 intercept, 5k shield, 10k base. Honestly, she looks really happy. Like, this card looks like it belongs in Leonhorn. And it was continued rear guard. If you played a gem order this turn, if your opponent's Vanguard's a grade 3 or greater, it gets plus 5. Okay, so 15k swing. Don't know why it couldn't be while your opponent's at grade 2, but sure, 15k swing when they're at grade 3. And then auto when she's placed on rear guard, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Willista's card name, by putting a hand card to your soul, look at the top 5, choose up to 2 grade 3s with Willista and their different card names, original card names from among them, reveal them, and put them into your hand and shuffle the deck, and if you do not reveal any cards, draw a card. All around, pretty good, plus because this is a way you can search your deck for 2 different, or search the top 5 at least, for 2 different Willistas, so great, you can have 2 different persona rides, you can get discard fodder for other things, and if you didn't get anything, you get a free draw. All around, Trixie's a pretty solid card. She gets you soul cards, which can help you proc off very specific units, and not to mention the fact she can get you persona rides, draws, 5ks, solid support card for Willista, and I can't wait to play this 4 of. Speaking of Willista, we have the new Willista and Festi Magic Willista. Gotta say, she looks beautiful and her skill is amazing. Great 3 Dragon Person rank, 13k base. Dress up, sadly, as fun as that is saying, it's not a mechanic that has to do with Trick Moon or Trickstar, but while we're on the topic, when is Bushy gonna give us more things that work with dress boost? Because I want to see that happen. But anyways, Prismatic Willista all dressed up is just during this fight. This card is also regarded as a specified card. So, specifically during the fight, meaning while you are building your deck, to my understanding, someone correct me if I'm wrong, that means while in deck building you can run this at 4 of and the OG at a 4 of. I'm not saying to do that, I'm just saying you can do that. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, and during the fight they're the same unit, so you know you can persona ride one off the other. Anyways, Auto was placed on Vanguard but discarding one hand card. Choose a gem card from your solo drops and put it to hand. If this was in Dear Days, I would have won a very specific game against Mika because I had bricked and I had one gem and it was in drop zone and I could have used it to win the game. This is amazing already. Just from this skill alone, that's a 4 of to me. But then its other skill, active Vanguard once per turn, Soul Blast 1 gem card to perform all the following according to the card name of the Soul Blasted card. If it's Everlasting Sapphire, you look at top 5, choose 2 unit cards from among them, call into rear guard circles and shuffle your deck, or if it was True Hearted Ruby, it gets plus 15k for the turn. Okay, so it's both better and worse than the OG Willista. It's better in the sense that this skill is no longer a mill 5 basically, and fair enough, but the difference is those units don't get power, and this skill, while it does get the same exact power as the original one, it doesn't nullify intercepts for the turn, and this one's a once per turn. But there is an upside to this, because while it may seem like you can only do 1 per turn, with the existence of this thing you can do both. So, Crossing Illumirays, grade 1 normal order, continuous during this fight is regarded as both True Hearted Ruby and Everlasting Sapphire. So, same as this one, to my knowledge, so someone correct me if I'm wrong, you can run this, Sapphire and Ruby, all at 4 copies for a total of 12 gems if you felt like it. Again, I'm not saying do that, but if that is possible, someone tell me if I'm wrong, you can. Anyways, play this card if you have a Vanguard listed in its card name, so it's great that it doesn't require either specific one. Put this card to Soul, draw a card, choose one of your Vanguards until end of turn, it gets plus 5k power, and if your opponent's Vanguard's a grade 3 or greater, it gets Auto Vanguard. When this unit attacks by counterblasting one and Soul Blasting a grade 3 listed in its card name, suddenly you are so much better because you can put a grade 3 from your hand to Soul. You can choose one of your rear guards and stand it. You cannot play orders for the rest of the turn though. So I'm pretty sure that's to deal with, because when you play this, you could technically use that grade 3 now that I'm probably going to run that, like when you play True Hearted Ruby, you get plus 10, and then you can play another order this turn. So, fair enough. Be a little too good. But, hey, you know, when it's Soul Blasted, it's still considered both. So, both effects proc. All around, this is great. Willista can now attack 5 times while your opponent's at grade 3, and I am now so happy that the only other Lyrical Monastery deck that I bought outside of Kyrie was Willista. I am being rewarded for being a budget player. This thing's amazing. I love it. I think it's great. The 4 of, I sadly cannot play this today because I'm going to prioritize playing this first, but I cannot wait to go play this for Friday's fight. Spoiler alert to what Friday's fight is. So I'm going to end it here. I hope you guys enjoyed. Honestly, these reveals are pretty great. I cannot wait to go shove this thing into my Varina deck and go beat the shit out of certain cards. I can't wait to play with more mirrors, and I cannot wait to test this thing out. So I'm going to end it here. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, join us, go to follow Twitch, and I'll see you all in the next one. Don't forget to stand up your Vanguards.